Okay, welcome to another segment of Z Pay's Artist Corner. This time we're doing a little something different. We're doing Artist Roundtable, where we have a group of artists from different genres, whether you're a muralist, painter, photographer, whatever creatives you have, that you do. And we're just asking a bunch of questions that you may have, whether you're an artist, whether you're somebody that appreciates art. So the topic today is dumbing down of art. And I'm going to introduce my co-host, Jason.
Hey, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I'm so happy when a plan comes together. So this is actually a 3-part series. So we're going to be talking about the dumbing down of art. Definitely tune in. You do not want to miss any part of this. And when we say dumbing down of art, what we mean is there's pressure for creatives to dumb down or tone down their work just for the purpose of appealing to a broader audience. So we're going to talk about that today. We have some awesome guests. First, we have Elisheba Israel Mrozik, fine artist and tattooist, owner of One Drop Inc., and executive director of North Nashville Artist Coalition.
Clap it up, clap it up.
Also, public art and community engagement. So thank you so much, Alicia, for joining us today. We also have Emmanuel, LeGrair, stylist, creative, event planner, and owner of The Commonwealth. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and get into our discussion today. We wanted to start out talking about dumbing down in the music world, okay? So first of all, and I guess I can pose this to you, Elisheba, do you feel that some artists or that some of your artwork is controversial for any reason? And have you felt pressured to tone that down in any way, just for the purpose of maybe success or selling or any of that?
Absolutely. Every day. I mean, I get, people love my work, but my work is focused on Black people and Black women specifically when it comes to my fine art and murals. And a lot of the subject matter is Black women and just our existence in whatever way that is, whether it's our bodies within ourselves, our mindset, the art represents that. And people don't want that all the time on their walls. They love the style of what I'm doing, and they'd rather me paint other types of people or no people. But when it comes to my fine art and stuff like that, I don't do commissions. I do commissions and tattooing every day. So when it comes to getting paint and stuff, I'm going to do what I want and you can purchase it. So
kind of free to express yourself.
Exactly.
On that.
I don't want to kind of hold myself back like I have to do with commissions because you're doing them for somebody and that's part of the job.
Right.
But the art part of my stuff, the fine art is
just totally you
it's
expressing
me and what I want to say.
And I have a question about that. So I've seen your artwork, amazing, of course, your murals. And I noticed that of course, there's Black women and feminism, and that this is the age where we're into like the femininity of things and all that. But what do you think that's most offensive? Like, what have you heard from other people to say, oh, well, I'm offended by that particularly?
Well, it's more so people's reactions, how they look at stuff. And I feel like it's just the Black form, the Black American form.
Yeah.
Because people know.
Yeah.
And they can I curse?
Yeah.
They fucking know. They know the history. They know it. Even if they deny that they don't know it, they know it. And when they look at the Black form, they are reminded, whether that's through that generational trauma of knowing it, they're reminded of what happened to Black people and how it happened and who did it to them. And they think about that when they see us. That's why like people will go out and buy a geisha and hang it in their home and they love it. Yeah. And they'll go out and buy like a Salvador Dali piece or
it's
Hispanic
all feminine
art
stuff, but it's not.
Frida Kahlo and all these other artists from other cultures, they love their art and they'll hang it up in the wall. But how many of them got Black art on it?
But question though, because what I really feel about the Black female. And, the Black female throughout history has been the one taking care of the babies, the one, cooking the food, the nannies. You have like Aunt Jemima. You have, what's that famous artist in those movies? She played the nanny for a long time. She played the mama for a long time. So I would think that would not be offensive.
Well, the thing is,
what is the light that you shed? Like, is it because you don't fit the stereotypical
servant roles? Though. Like, you gotta think about that. They're dressed as and acting in a meek and meager way, and that servant role allows them to be like, okay, this is the kind of Black person my mommy told me about, or whatever.
It fits into that picture.
Exactly.
And I know, like, Emmanuel, you do styling. Do you feel like the Black male and the way that it's presented and not fitting that stereotypical, like the, hip hop, chains got to kind of fit a thug image or something of that sort? Do you feel like that's kind of when you come out with, your suit and the bow tie, it's like, wait a minute. You ain't supposed to be, you ain't looking like you educate. Okay, what's your take on like your stance as presenting yourself different from what the stereotype is?
I would agree with that statement. I think anything that shows like Black power and Black, independence is pride. It's hard for some people to deal with and to be comfortable with. And so how I present myself is honestly, I like the stuff that I wear.
Right.
I wear things that I enjoy that make me feel good, and that's not always received by where'd you start dressing like that? And I'm just like, I've been dressed like this my whole life.
Do they treat you different?
Yes, because I can tell you a story. I think I was in high school. Like I was a kid in high school that had monogram dress shirts and Dockers khakis and Doc Martin shoes. That was my vibe in high school, My brother, who's 3 years older than me, wore more of like the hip hop type streetwear. So nothing wrong with it, just different styles of clothing. And so I remember walking into a mall. I'm from Northeastern Ohio, so we were in Cleveland. I'm not from Cleveland, let me say that first. But we were in Cleveland at a mall and we walked into a Brooks Brothers, and I was 16 and my brother was 19 at the time. And so he walked in and I watched the people look at him and look away. And then I walked in, I had on my preppy
Not a
gear.
Hello, may I help you?
He didn't get a thing. And I walked in and they were, hey, how are you today? I'm just like, do you know that we're together? Like, I literally like 5 steps behind him. You know what I mean? And so that was my first vivid memory, as a semi-adult, if you will, of knowing that the way I present myself may get me different treatment than the way someone else presents themselves. And honestly, we're all guilty of looking at people and being like, oh, maybe not, or maybe so. And so I think all of us have some point of that, but I think Blackness in particular, I think it's just raised into a different decibel, if you will.
Right. It's so interesting. We can build the wealth, originate the wealth, but as far as a Black body sporting the wealth, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You have to prove it's yours.
And then also just being like that strong feminine, like who we really are. And really what history has, if we weren't strong already, definitely we were, but we are. But throughout that history that has molded us into a different mindset, how we think, how we feel, how we express that through, being enslaved as well, we're able to express different emotions that is really uncomfortable. And the way we express it in our dress, because, we set the bar for the style.
Yep.
We set that like, you see that on TikTok, you see that the Black expression. But just going back to like the dumbing down of that, do you feel like in the media right now, there's kind of a dumbing down, like I know you talked about like how you dress and you express yourself in the suit and tie and all that. And like Elisheba, you express like how Black femininity is expressed in strength. Do you feel like there is an opposite right now that's trying to push through to keep that from like being, expressed in full?
The internet.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say the internet. Like the fact that 30 seconds is what we got to catch somebody's attention on or a minute at the most. And most people just flipping through. They don't even watch the whole thing. Like, so they're trying to make it as simple and as short as possible to fit into this capitalism model of quick, fast, bigger, better, then next time get more followers, this, and this. So that's one thing.
Yeah, I also think that Black creativity, many times we're told we're not as good. We're told we're not as creative. We're told our product, whatever that product is, I don't mean like sellable thing, but whatever your product is, isn't viable. And then it's turned around and reproduced
Yeah.
in a
Copied.
similar way.
And
you're just like, well, like for instance, I'm not gonna put anybody out. I think
Put them out there.
not gonna put anybody out there. I don't want to have trouble, and I don't want y'all to have trouble or anything. But when you think about certain genres of music, I know that's where we started, but certain genres of music, that we've been doing for years.
Yeah.
And people are amazing at it, and have practiced and have, improved and have done all of these things to get better at their craft. And then someone else comes along and just like they imitate it and they're famous. And it's like,
that's what
we've been doing it for 30 years.
That's what we've been
for
doing.
40 years, for hundreds of years. And now you do it in less than 10 and you're.
So like in comparison to James Brown and Elvis.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what
like
it is.
giving more of like an accolade to Elvis and saying, oh yeah, he's the, know.
He did.
He did
Little
this.
Richard. Or,
right.
All those sorts of
Not
artists that
giving-
were like, this is what we made. Like we made this up.
Right.
We
warmed up the room for them until everybody liked it, and then they just put it on top.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen like the newest one. I've seen the Island Boy. Has anybody seen like the Island? I'm an
the
Island
ones with their little
boy.
tattoos on their head and they
And
twins.
don't they have the locks? I think
I've
they
seen
recently
them, yeah.
shaved their head. I've seen that on TikTok or like Instagram, and so I don't even know where they're from, but it's kind of like, okay, how am I supposed to look at this? Because just being from the West Indian myself and West Indian culture, I look at that as, I don't mind sharing, but at the same time, are you mocking my culture? And I really feel like there's a mockery sometime of it. And sometimes I feel like, when I do see like Jason and I I think we were at the tavern and we saw a lot of the, what those buses called, those
Party buses.
the party bus.
Right.
And I said, it's so funny because you'll always see like our music playing all the time. And I'm just like, I don't mind that, but it's kind of like at the same time, also, I remember he was doing an Uber and the people in the Uber got in, the young millennials, the white millennials got in there and they were just like, oh, play Beyonce. And he was trying to find it. He was just like, no, the good Beyonce.
Yeah, the good Beyonce meaning before Lemonade.
Before Lemonade.
So before she got,
before they realized she was black.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
And so
it took you to say that before you understand what's happening. I was like,
I was like,
Beyonce, it's the same person.
I didn't
Right.
understand
That's
either
it.
when he said
I thought
that.
it was the same person.
When she was
Apparently it
breaking
wasn't.
down instead of building up.
Yeah.
There you
Right. Because she first started in her group in pop.
go. Yeah.
A lot of groups started in pop. And I remember like growing up in the 80s and 90s, you have like conscious rap. That's like my favorite type of rap, when like hip hop was kind of new. And a lot of conscious rappers, you really don't see a lot of them. If they're there, it's not totally mainstream. And I really feel like those types of rap, music and just different things that actually uplift the Black male. You have a little few there, but they're not necessarily recognized as mainstream and really getting that accolade. And I mean, I can go on for hours about just talking about just some of the ways that we're portrayed, sexualized. And, sex sells, but, still at the same time, I feel like, when you have something where you create art like you, Elisheba, where it's, there's not a sexuality, it's more of a strong,
divine energy.
right? A divine
Like
energy that we're portraying.
Let me interject there because I
Yes.
just want to talk about the music and women's hip hop and rap in particular. In that you were talking about no positive for men, and there are a few out there, but Toby is the biggest one I know. Toby Nguyen,
Yeah.
he's the biggest one I know that is
Yes.
more positive, and I love his message of family and community. But as far as women, like it really does frustrate me that sex is the only thing a woman rapper can seem to talk about and get play for, and her skills in fucking is all that it seems that she has. Like, what about the other aspects of her life? Because these women are dynamic, amazing women to be able to come into a game and throw it up. I'd hate on none of them for that. But I just am like, what else? I love to hear Megan Thee Stallion. I know she played games and stuff. Like, I love to hear her talk about whipping motherfuckers on video games or doing her cosplay or whatever.
But you would never know that.
No, because all they ever have is ass. That's it. Like,
throwing it back, twerking.
I think that hits home, I think, for us, well, for me, especially as a father of 2 young Black women. I think about that. As they grow up, I mean, they're going to be exposed to pop culture. They're going to be exposed to, music, art, whatnot. Are they going to learn to value themselves? I mean, I know that's our job, but as far as what society tells them, makes them valuable, that's a concern for me.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. Tune into our next episode where we talk about film and production, and just the dumbing down of film and production. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
One day I'ma quit this day job.